Hey guys, this is a quick follow-up video from Harry Kane's shooting tutorial I did in the last video. So today I kind of want to talk about the approach to the shot. Last time I talked about the strike, turning the hip, turning the hip back open to have a good trajectory with the shooting foot into the bottom corner, angling your foot to cradle the ball. Some of it's related, but what I would focus on was the steps before the shot. So, I always had a problem with having my shot blocked by the defenders, and even the goalkeeper sometimes can get a good save, and it's hard and low to one of the corners. So, see what I mean? Let's play this clip. So see, quite often when Harry Kane takes the penalty, he takes stutter steps, and I always wonder if that was just a mental thing he did or it was related to his technique. But oftentimes when you see Kane shoot, or even actually any strikers, like in the last steps, you see they take these little steps here and before they do the strike. I've rarely ever seen that, at least top level football, good goal scorers, they see the ball and then you logically just want to take, try to get there as fast as possible. So you take these long strides and then hit the ball. And then, I find when you take these strides, it's easy to predict when you're going to take the shot by the defender who will block it, and even the goalkeeper who will brace himself to jump just as you're about to strike the ball. So I want to share with you because I find also massive improvements, and it's really simple too. It's just sometimes you just take these little stutter steps, like little fake shots. Just other clips here of not from Kane, just from Kane. I looked at a lot of other strikers. They put their arm up. Sometimes they vary their tempo. So, they kind of stop a little bit because maybe the defender is about to lunge in, then he stops, and then of course he's flat-footed for that brief of time, or maybe he sees the keeper, he's ready to jump, and then he hesitates as he understands the shot isn't coming, and then he's a little flat-footed, and then he can take the strike. So here's my example of trying to shoot like Harry Kane to the bottom corner while trying to adjust for those stutter steps. So before, as I go, normally I would predict the ball would land here, so I would kind of almost do these giant leaps to get to the ball. But again, just very simple, just little steps here. Here I kind of put my arm just up a little bit, and then you see, and then the next step I can actually take the shot and go bottom corner. Now, one thing to note about the hip turn, so I told you before that after you turn the hip, a lot of times you'll turn your hip open to keep this trajectory of your foot straight. I kind of want to do a follow-up on that. Sometimes you don't always, well, at least there's a degree of how much you open your hip. Sometimes you might even need to open it up at all. So that really has to do with where well, in this case my right hip is positioned. So I find when you stutter step and then maybe you kind of slow down here, and then you let your right hip catch up, generally you need to open it a bit more. So as you turn your hip up, since your right hip is already caught up a lot, it can really change the trajectory of your kicking foot, and you can curl and potentially scuff the ball. So since your right hip is already forward enough, I find generally you need to turn it back just as you strike it to have a nice clean straight follow through. Now on the other hand, if you're running and your hip is a bit back there, generally as you turn in, you'll still have the right trajectory because you don't need to turn your hip out as much to compensate, because your hip is already back, so you don't have to worry as much about having your foot curving too much in the trajectory. Now, as I said before, these stutter steps are kind of changing the tempo of your steps on how you're going to shoot. It isn't very unique, but that's just something I noticed all the good strikers tend to do. It was never told to me explicitly, so that's why I thought it's worth sharing. But I find players, like Messi, you can also incorporate that kind of move into their dribbling. So when you're close to the box within shooting range, or even passing and crossing range, sometimes you don't have to even feint. You can just almost add a new move, these little fake shots, or even a full Cruyff turn. So let's watch this clip. So after Messi gets past this defender here, so this is where like he could potentially, cut inside and then curl it into the corner. You see his right arm kind of go there. Sometimes it's might be able to keep balance, but I find you see, to me, this kind of looks like he could potentially take a shot here. You see, especially since his left foot is coming down, and you see that right arm is coming out to. Looks like he could prefer the shot, but he sees the defender like lunging in, and then just another shot here, and then from watching Messi, like sometimes I have to be careful, like if this flailing of the leg is just him running, or is it actually a fake shot? But to me, it looks more of like a fake shot, or a potential shot that's coming in, and then you see here, like just a little bit of these little steps before taking that final shot. He's not trying to just trying to get there as fast with like one leap, which could make the defender get an easy block in. And just a little caveat about the steps. So let's watch this clip. So finally, we slow down. You can allow your like right hip to like catch up, and then like since it's close, like or in line with your other hip, generally as you strike more across the body, you need to kind of open just to have more of a straight trajectory. Also, if you see here, as Kane takes his last step, another thing is like say when you're like when your shooting foot is relatively close to your supporting foot, I think naturally that also makes your right hip a bit more in line with your left. So that also can add to the factor of potentially needing to open your hip after turning, after turning it in to have a straighter follow through.